7 days. That's all I gave myself. Not 30 days, not 90, just 7. Because I realized something that hit me harder than I expected. If I couldn't stay committed for one single week, how could I expect my life to be different a year from now? At first, I blamed everything around me. I blamed being busy. I blamed stress. I blamed my phone. I blamed my schedule. But eventually, I had to face a truth I had been avoiding. My life wasn't the problem, my habits were. Every morning I woke up already feeling behind. Every night I went to bed wondering where the day had disappeared. I had goals, I had dreams, but somehow they always felt like they belonged to a future version of me that never seemed to arrive. Then one question changed everything. What if my life wasn't waiting for a miracle? What if it was waiting for better habits? So I made myself a promise. For the next 7 days, I would completely change the way I lived. Not forever, just 1 week. 7 habits, no excuses, no shortcuts. No, I'll start tomorrow. Some of these habits were harder than I imagined. One almost made me quit. Another completely changed the way I thought about myself. And by the end of the week, I wasn't just more productive. I was calmer, more focused, more confident. For the first time in a long time, I felt like I was finally moving forward instead of standing still. If you've ever felt stuck, unmotivated, or like you're capable of so much more than you're currently living, then stay with me. Because one of these 7 habits might become the turning point you've been looking for. Let's start with the one I thought would be the easiest, but turned out to be one of the hardest. One, wake up before the world does. For years, I believed I wasn't a morning person. Maybe you've said the same thing. I work better at night. I just need another 10 minutes. I'll wake up early tomorrow. Tomorrow never came. Every morning looked exactly the same. The alarm would ring. I'd hit snooze. 5 minutes became 15. 15 became 30. Before I knew it, I was rushing through breakfast, skipping important things, and starting the day already stressed. I wasn't chasing my goals. I was chasing the clock. Then I made one small decision. Wake up 1 hour earlier. Not because successful people said I should. Not because some billionaire's morning routine went viral. I wanted to see what happened when I stopped beginning my day in survival mode. The first morning was miserable. I won't pretend it was magical. The bed felt warmer than ever. My mind negotiated with me. You deserve more sleep. You can start tomorrow. No one will know. But I remembered something James Clear once wrote. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become. That morning wasn't about waking up early. It was about becoming someone who keeps promises to themselves. So I got up. I drank a glass of water. I stretched. I opened the curtains. Outside, the streets were almost silent. No notifications, no traffic, no endless demands. Just peace. For the first time in months, my mind felt quiet. That hour became mine. Instead of immediately reacting to the world, I was preparing myself for it. I read a few pages of a book. I planned my day. I thought clearly. And something strange happened. The rest of the day felt slow. Not because time had changed, but because I wasn't rushing anymore. Have you ever noticed how chaos creates more chaos? When your morning begins in panic, everything else follows. You forget things. You become impatient. Small inconveniences feel enormous. But when your morning begins with intention, your mind carries that calm into everything else. By day 3, waking up early stopped feeling like punishment. By day 5, I actually looked forward to it. I began noticing little things I'd ignored for years. The sound of birds before sunrise, the cool morning air, the feeling of drinking coffee while the rest of the neighborhood was still asleep. It felt like discovering an entirely different world that had always existed. I had just been sleeping through it. But here's what surprised me the most. The biggest benefit wasn't having more time. It was having more control. I wasn't reacting anymore. I was choosing. And those are 2 very different ways to live. If you decide to try this habit, don't make the mistake I almost made. Don't suddenly wake up 2 hours earlier. Your body will hate you. Start with 15 minutes, then another 15. Make it so easy you can't fail. Because success isn't built through giant leaps. It's built through tiny victories repeated every day. I thought waking up early would change my mornings. I never expected it to change my mindset. But that wasn't the habit that made the biggest difference. Not even close. Because the next habit taught me something that completely transformed the way I looked at discipline. And it started with just 20 minutes. 2. Move your body before your mind talks you out of it. I'll admit something. There was a time when exercise felt like punishment. I didn't hate the idea of being healthy. I hated starting. Every morning I had an excuse ready before my feet even touched the floor. I'm tired. I'll go later. I've got too much work. I'll start on Monday. Funny thing about Monday, it always seemed to move 1 week further away. Then one sentence changed the way I thought about exercise forever. Motion creates motivation. Most people believe motivation comes first. It doesn't. Action comes first. Motivation catches up later. So I made a deal with myself. Not an hour, not a complicated workout, just 20 minutes. That's it. No matter how I felt. No negotiations. No excuses. The first workout wasn't impressive. There were no dramatic movie moments, no epic soundtrack. Just me, breathing heavily after a short jog and wondering how I'd let myself get so out of shape. It was humbling, but it was honest. The next morning, every muscle reminded me of yesterday's decision. Walking downstairs felt like a workout. Sitting down felt like a workout. Standing back up somehow felt even worse. Part of me wanted to stop. Another part whispered something different. If you're sore, it means you're changing. So I kept going, not because it suddenly became easy, because I refused to let temporary discomfort decide my future. By day 4, something incredible happened. I noticed I wasn't exercising because I had to. I wanted to. Not because I loved sweating. Not because I suddenly became an athlete. But because of what happened afterward. My mind felt lighter. My energy lasted longer. Problems that seemed overwhelming in the morning suddenly felt manageable by afternoon. Scientists have known this for years. Movement changes your brain chemistry. Exercise doesn't just strengthen muscles. It reduces stress, improves memory, sharpens focus, boosts mood. It's one of the closest things we have to a natural antidepressant. And yet, most people keep waiting until they feel motivated. The irony is that motivation often shows up only after you've already started. One morning, I almost skipped my workout because it was raining. I stood by the window convincing myself that missing one day wouldn't matter. Then I caught myself. How many times had I said that before? One missed day becomes 2. 2 becomes a week. A week becomes another year. So instead of running outside, I exercised in my living room. Nothing fancy. Push-ups, squats, stretching. 20 minutes. That's all. When I finished, I laughed. Not because it was fun, because I'd nearly let the weather become another excuse. That day taught me something I'll never forget. Discipline isn't about perfect conditions. It's about showing up anyway. And strangely enough, the biggest transformation wasn't happening in my body. It was happening in my identity. Every workout became another vote for the person I wanted to become. Someone who finishes what they start. Someone who doesn't quit because life becomes inconvenient. Someone who keeps promises. That realization changed everything. But there was still one habit I wasn't prepared for. I thought it would be the easiest of the entire challenge. Instead, it forced me to confront thoughts I'd been avoiding for years. And that habit began with nothing more than a blank page and a pen. 3. Write down the thoughts that control you. I used to think journaling was for people who had everything figured out. People who loved writing. People with perfectly organized lives. I wasn't one of those people. Most days, my thoughts felt like a crowded room where everyone was talking at the same time. Ideas, worries, regrets, plans, self-doubt. They all competed for my attention until I couldn't focus on any of them. I didn't realize how mentally exhausted I was until I decided to do something incredibly simple. Every night for 7 days, I wrote. Not pages, not essays, just whatever was on my mind. The first night felt awkward. I stared at the blank page for almost 2 minutes. What do you even write? Eventually, I wrote one sentence. Today felt heavier than it should have. Then another sentence followed, then another. Within 10 minutes, I'd filled an entire page, and something unexpected happened. My mind became quiet. The thoughts that had been racing around all day suddenly didn't seem so overwhelming anymore. It was as if my brain had finally found somewhere safe to put them. Over the next few nights, I noticed patterns. The same fears kept showing up. The same excuses, the same insecurities, the same stories I kept telling myself. I don't have enough time. I'm probably not good enough. What if I fail? Here's the strange part. Most of those thoughts weren't true. They were simply repeated so often that I'd mistaken them for facts. Writing exposed them. One evening, I wrote about a mistake I'd made at work. I'd replayed that mistake in my head all day. I was convinced everyone noticed it. Everyone was judging me. When I finally wrote it down, I asked myself one simple question. Will this matter 1 year from now? The answer came almost instantly. No. Then why had I given it so much power? That moment changed something inside me. I realized that thoughts become stronger when they're trapped inside your head. Once they're written down, you can examine them, question them, challenge them. You're no longer controlled by them. You're observing them. That's a completely different position to be in. Then I added something else to my journal. 3 things I was grateful for every night. At first, they were obvious. A good meal, my family, a sunny day. But after a while, I found myself noticing things I'd usually ignore. The stranger who smiled at me. The phone call that made me laugh. The quiet drive home after a stressful day. Gratitude wasn't changing my circumstances. It was changing what my mind searched for. Because your brain will always find evidence for whatever you're looking for. Look for problems. You'll find plenty. Look for blessings. They're everywhere. By day 7, journaling had become something I actually looked forward to. Not because I enjoyed writing, because I enjoyed understanding myself. Sometimes the biggest breakthrough isn't changing your life. It's finally understanding why you've been living it the way you have. But while journaling helped organize my thoughts, the next habit completely changed my relationship with my body. And I had been doing it wrong for years without even realizing it. 4. Eat like someone who respects themselves. I never thought food was holding me back. I wasn't eating terribly. I just wasn't paying attention. Breakfast happened while checking emails. Lunch happened while watching YouTube. Dinner happened with my phone in one hand and a fork in the other. I wasn't eating, I was multitasking. One afternoon, I finished an entire meal and couldn't remember what it tasted like. Think about that. I had eaten, but I hadn't experienced eating. That's when I decided to spend the next few days doing something that felt almost uncomfortable. Every meal, no distractions, no phone, no television, no scrolling, just me and my food. The first lunch felt strangely quiet. I reached for my phone without even thinking. It wasn't hunger pulling me toward it. It was habit. That realization shocked me. I wasn't addicted to my phone because I needed it. I was addicted because my brain had learned to fear silence. So I kept the phone face down. I took my first bite slowly. For the first time in years, I noticed how many flavors I'd been rushing past. The sweetness, the texture, the warmth. Food wasn't just fuel anymore. It became an experience. Then something else happened. I stopped overeating. Not because I forced myself to, because I finally gave my brain enough time to realize it was full. Did you know it can take around 20 minutes for your brain to receive the signal that your stomach has had enough? If you eat too quickly, you'll often eat far more than your body actually needs. That explained a lot. For years, I blamed my appetite, but the real problem wasn't hunger, it was speed. Then I noticed something even more interesting. Certain foods affected my mood differently. Heavy processed meals left me sluggish. Fresh meals gave me energy. Sugary snacks gave me a quick boost, followed by an even bigger crash. I'd always heard the phrase, "You are what you eat," but I finally understood it. Food doesn't just become your body, it becomes your energy, your focus, your emotions. One evening after a particularly stressful day, I walked straight toward the kitchen. Without thinking, I reached for a bag of chips. Halfway there, I stopped. I asked myself something I'd never asked before. Am I hungry, or am I trying to escape this feeling? The answer surprised me. I wasn't hungry, I was stressed. Food had become a distraction, not a solution. Instead, I made a cup of tea and sat outside for 10 minutes. By the time I came back inside, the craving had disappeared. That moment taught me a lesson I'll never forget. Not every craving is about food. Sometimes it's about comfort. Sometimes it's about boredom. Sometimes it's about loneliness. Learning the difference changed the way I treated myself. Because respecting yourself isn't just about what you eat. It's about understanding why you're eating. And once I became intentional with food, I naturally became intentional with other areas of my life. But there was still one habit quietly stealing hours from every single day. I didn't notice it at first, because everyone around me was doing exactly the same thing. It had become normal, and that's what made it so dangerous. 5. Take back control of your attention. If someone asked me a year ago how much time I spent on my phone, I probably would have guessed 2 hours, maybe 3. Then I checked. The number made my stomach drop. Almost 6 hours. Every single day. 6 hours, that's nearly 2 full months every year, spent staring at a screen. Not creating, not learning, not living, just scrolling. One video became 10. One notification became 20. 5 minutes somehow became an hour. The scary part wasn't that I was wasting time. It was that I didn't even notice it happening. Social media had become my default response to everything. Waiting in line, phone. Bored, phone. Eating, phone. Can't sleep? Definitely phone. My brain had forgotten how to be still. So I made one simple rule. For 7 days, no social media before noon, no phone during meals, no phone 1 hour before bed. That's it. The first morning felt empty. I reached for my phone almost automatically. It wasn't a decision. It was a reflex. That frightened me. How many decisions in my life weren't actually decisions anymore? How many had simply become habits? Instead of opening social media, I opened a book. Instead of checking notifications, I wrote down my goals. Instead of consuming someone else's life, I started building my own. The difference wasn't immediate, but by the third day, something incredible happened. I could focus again. Reading became easier. Conversations felt deeper. Work that normally took an hour suddenly took 30 minutes. Not because I became smarter, because my attention wasn't constantly being interrupted. Here's something most people don't realize. Your attention is your life. Whatever consistently receives your attention eventually shapes your future. If your attention belongs to endless scrolling, your future belongs there too. But if your attention belongs to learning, creating, building, then your future changes with it. I began noticing things I hadn't seen in months. The sunset during my evening walks, people smiling instead of staring at screens, the sound of rain against the windows. Life hadn't become more beautiful. I had simply started paying attention again, and that changed everything. But there were still two habits left. One of them completely transformed my mental state. The other became the foundation that made every other habit stick. And without them, none of the others would have lasted. 6. Protect your mind before the world reaches it. By the 6th day, something strange had happened. I was waking up earlier, moving more, eating better, writing every night, spending less time on my phone. But there was still one problem I couldn't ignore. My mind still felt crowded, not all the time, but often enough. One negative comment could ruin my mood. One stressful email could hijack my entire day. One piece of bad news could stay with me for hours. That's when I realized something. Every morning, before I'd even had a chance to think for myself, I was allowing the world to think for me. I'd wake up, open my phone, read emails, scroll through headlines, check messages, watch videos. Within 10 minutes, my brain was already carrying everyone else's problems. No wonder I felt overwhelmed. I had never given myself the opportunity to enter the day with a clear mind, so I made one final change. For the first hour after waking up, I refused to consume anything. No news, no social media, no emails, no YouTube, nothing. Instead, I sat quietly, sometimes with coffee, sometimes with a notebook, sometimes just watching the sunrise. At first, it felt uncomfortable. Silence has a strange way of exposing thoughts you've been trying to outrun. But after a few mornings, something shifted. I wasn't reacting anymore. I was thinking for myself. I started asking better questions. What actually matters today? What deserves my attention? What can I control? Instead of letting the world dictate my emotions, I chose my own mindset before stepping into it. One morning, I read a quote that perfectly captured what I was experiencing. You cannot control the wind, but you can adjust your sails. That's exactly what this habit taught me. Life would always throw unexpected challenges at me. Traffic, criticism, delays, disappointments. But if I began every day with a calm and focused mind, those challenges no longer controlled me. There was one particular afternoon that proved it. A project I'd been working on for weeks suddenly fell apart. Old me would have panicked, complained, questioned myself. Instead, I took a deep breath, grabbed my notebook, wrote down what I could control, ignored what I couldn't, then got back to work. The situation hadn't changed, but I had. That was the difference. Most people spend years trying to change their circumstances. Very few spend time changing the mind that experiences those circumstances. Once I understood that, everything else became easier. And then came the final habit. Ironically, it wasn't a morning routine, it wasn't meditation, it wasn't exercise, it wasn't even journaling. It was something so simple I almost overlooked it. Yet it became the glue that held every other habit together. 7. Keep one promise to yourself every single day. If I had to choose just one habit from this entire experiment, this would be it. Because it wasn't really a habit, it was an identity. For years, I made promises to myself. I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to read more. I'm going to stop procrastinating. I'm going to wake up earlier. Sound familiar? The problem wasn't that I lacked goals. The problem was that I kept breaking promises to the one person who should have trusted me most, myself. Every time I said, I'll do it tomorrow, and didn't, I weakened my confidence. Not confidence in other people, confidence in me. Then I asked myself something that completely changed my perspective. If someone treated me the way I treat myself, would I trust them? The answer hurt. No, because trust isn't built through words. It's built through consistency. So I created one simple rule. Every day, I had to keep one promise to myself. Only one. Some days it was exercising. Some days it was reading 10 pages. Some days it was avoiding my phone before bed. Some days it was drinking enough water. The promise didn't need to be impressive. It just needed to be kept. Because every time I followed through, I was casting another vote for the person I wanted to become. By the end of the week, I noticed something remarkable. I trusted myself more. I stopped questioning whether I'd follow through because I'd already proven it. One promise, one day again, and again, and again. People often think confidence comes from success. I don't think it does. I think confidence comes from evidence. Evidence that you'll show up. Evidence that you'll finish. Evidence that you can rely on yourself when things become difficult. That's real confidence, and no one can give it to you. You earn it, one promise at a time. When I started this 7-day challenge, I thought I was trying to change my habits. I was wrong. I was changing my identity. The habits weren't the destination. They were the vehicle. Each small decision whispered something to my subconscious. I am someone who takes care of myself. I am someone who finishes what I start. I am someone who chooses growth over comfort. That voice became stronger every single day. Not because life suddenly became easier, but because I became stronger. People often wait for motivation before they take action. I learned the opposite. Action creates motivation. Action creates discipline. Action creates confidence. One small choice leads to another, then another. Until one day, you wake up and realize you're living a completely different life. Not because of one giant decision, but because of hundreds of tiny ones. If you've made it this far, I want to leave you with one challenge. Don't try all 7 habits tomorrow. That's how most people fail. Pick one, just one. Commit to it for the next 7 days. Protect it, repeat it, own it. Then come back and add another. Remember, nobody becomes extraordinary overnight. Extraordinary people simply become ordinary people who refuse to quit. 1 week from today, you'll still be 7 days older. That part is guaranteed. The only question is, will you also be 7 days stronger? 7 days healthier? 7 days wiser? 7 days closer to the life you've been dreaming about? Or will you be exactly where you are today? Still waiting for the perfect moment? Because here's the truth I discovered. The perfect moment never arrives. The moment becomes perfect because you decide to begin. So don't wait for Monday. Don't wait for next month. Don't wait until life feels easier. Start with one habit, one decision, one promise, and let tomorrow become the first page of a completely different story. If this video gave you something to think about, let me know in the comments. Which of these 7 habits are you committing to first? I'd genuinely love to hear your answer. And if you're serious about becoming the strongest version of yourself, make sure you're subscribed. Every week, we explore practical ideas, timeless wisdom, and powerful habits that help you build a life with more purpose, discipline, and peace. Until next time, take care of your mind, protect your time, keep your promises, and never underestimate what 7 days of consistent action can do. I'll see you in the next video.